So I just had the opportunity to watch the movie The Substance, this new body horror movie starring Demi Moore. Is it any good, or is it all style over substance? Let's find out. So welcome back to this channel, everyone, and welcome to my review for The Substance, this 2024 body horror drama movie directed by Coralie Farget, a French writer and director who's responsible for bringing us films such as The Revenge from several years ago, among some other bits and pieces that I am honestly not aware of beyond directing one episode of the TV series The Sandman. Like I said, the film stars Demi Moore as Elizabeth Sparkle. She's this big Hollywood, well, one-time big Hollywood actress who had a massive career, who was an Oscar winner and all this sort of stuff. But now she hosts a morning TV program, workout program for producer, TV owner Dennis Quaid, who's got a bit fed up with her. She's aging, she's not what he wants. He wants someone younger, and she gets the opportunity to take this black market drug called The Substance that has the ability to give you a better version of yourself. Only the better version of yourself is actually kind of born out of yourself. It's a younger version of yourself who has to share time with you. Basically, you need 7 days on, 7 days off, 7 days on, 7 days off, one body at a time, so to speak, to have this kind of symbiotic relationship between the two for things to work out. And thusly, when Demi Moore takes this substance, she births this younger version of herself, played by Margaret Qualley, who plays her younger alter ego, who goes by the name Sue. Now, Margaret Qualley, I'm not very familiar with her as an actress, other than her being in the TV series The Leftovers, in which she was pretty good. And she goes out and she gets the replacement role on this TV program, the younger version of herself. And this leads to the two of them sharing time, but then the younger version wanting more time and thusly taking it from the older version, so to speak, in that she steps beyond the 7-day rule and all this sort of stuff. So I'm not going to go in depth into spoiler territory with this or anything like that, but that's kind of the story of the film. The film itself is it's a social commentary on beauty and people's need to stay young all the time and this sort of a thing. And not only that, Hollywood's obsession with the younger actress, and when female actresses kind of turn a certain age, they're kind of considered no longer required, that sort of thing. So it plays on those kind of tropes. Yeah, so the film itself, I think the story for this film, it's got an intriguing story. That to be said. You know, I had certain questions as the film went along, and the film did answer said questions. It's a very well written movie. Now, the film does have a lot of nudity in it, non-sexualized, but it does have other sexualized moments as well. The film is a mix of The Elephant Man, The Fly with certain body horror elements, and Eric Pryde's Call on Me. Yeah, the film runs for 2 hours and 15 minutes. Now, I was intrigued by the story. It's got some good use of camera, and the lenses that it's shot through, kind of making things feel otherworldly, a bit obscure, a bit out there in the angles that it decides to take, and like I said, the lenses that kind of make things distorted and all this sort of thing, which is quite apt because the whole film is somewhat distorted in a sense, and the idea behind it, whether the science of it works or not, which it doesn't, obviously, it's a well-made movie that is certainly going to appeal to a vast audience out there, those kind of horror-esque fans. So while I look at this film and I think, yeah, this is a well-made movie, it's got some decent acting in it. Demi Moore does really well. It's got some really good special effects, in the sense of having makeup effects. You know, it does look really good. It is kind of gross out in certain moments, but nothing that we haven't really seen before. And I do feel that the film kind of lets itself down in its last maybe 15 minutes, especially where the main girl, she becomes like a fire hydrant spurting blood kind of thing. And yeah, it does get a bit stupid towards the end more so. I feel that the film could have benefited from being trimmed by maybe 30 minutes. Taken the end out, done something different with the end. It got to where I thought it would go to, but there's a certain element where you start stepping over the line, going into the realm of complete ridiculousness. And this is the end where the girl goes back on stage and all this sort of a thing, and what happens there on out. So whilst it's a film that I can appreciate is well made, well acted, got some interesting visual choices, it's not a film for me. This is not my cup of tea at all. I mean, I'm glad I watched it. Is it a film that I would ever revisit or own in the collection? Most definitely not. Yeah, a lot of people will enjoy it and love it and rage about it being the next best thing in the horror community. But for me, one-time watch, probably forget about it in a few weeks' time.